One question has been surrounding unstable SMP. Who are the Null? A group of players with no identity, no normal skins, random names that look like complete nonsense, and somehow they have become one of the biggest threats the server has ever seen. But the biggest mystery isn't what the Null are doing, it's where they came from. Right now, there are many theories about their origin. Some believe they are the old Mafia brought back from the dead. Others believe that Wi-Fi's has returned as the Null commander. But what if everyone is looking at this the wrong way? What if the Null aren't people who came back? What if they're people who were changed? And the answer might have been hidden somewhere we already saw before, the underworld. But before we talk about that, we need to understand something important about Jamato. Because the strange thing about Jamato isn't just that he became the leader of the Null, it's the kind of power he has. Exploits, command blocks, machines that shouldn't even exist, things that completely break the normal rules of Minecraft. And that's important because the underworld itself should be impossible. It exists underneath nether bedrock, something that normally cannot happen. So how does a place like this even exist? Maybe the answer is the one person we know who can break Minecraft's rules, Jamato. But the underworld has another secret, the Soul Keepers. Inside the underworld, we saw 6 mysterious guards protecting it, and there is something strange about them. They have the same skinless, void-like appearance as the Null. They even have emerald trims on their armor, the same color theme connected to Jamato. But the biggest clue is their name, Soul Keepers. Why would they be called Soul Keepers? Maybe they weren't protecting the underworld itself. Maybe they were protecting what happens inside it. Because we know players were being held captive there. Remember Helpless John?
Why is your name Helpless John 3?
But why capture players? Why keep them trapped inside the underworld? Maybe the answer is connected to one of the most mysterious objects we have ever seen, the gold block. For a long time, people believed the gold block inside the underworld was a way to revive dead players. And honestly, it makes sense. The Mafia return theory exists because of this exact block, a mysterious object hidden in the underworld that seems powerful enough to bring people back. But there is one problem. If the gold block only revives people, why do the Null have no identity? Why do they look completely different? Why do they seem like something has been removed from them? What if the gold block doesn't bring people back? What if it changes them? Their identity, their appearance, their name, their soul, turning them into something empty, turning them into a Null. And this would explain something that no other theory can fully explain. Why the Null don't look like normal players. Because maybe they aren't dead players returning, maybe they are players who became something else, but there is still one problem. After the latest events, we learned that the Null were already an old and powerful army. An army with their own leader. Jamato didn't create the Null, he defeated their previous leader and took control of them. Which means the real question isn't, did Jamato create the Null? The real question is, how did Jamato gain control over an army this powerful? And the answer is the Totem of Null, a powerful object connected to the entire Null army. A totem so important that if it is destroyed, the entire Null army falls with it. This creates an even bigger mystery. How did Jamato get this much powerful that he defeated the previous Null leader? And this is where another huge clue appears, the Wither Skull Canon. During the destruction of Purgatory, Jamato used a weapon that summoned Wither Skulls from nowhere. And I think I already know how he did it. Inside the underworld, Wembu discovered Withers trapped with a mechanism built around them, a machine that forced them to constantly fire Wither Skulls, a system that could control their attacks. And now, Jamato is able to use similar technology outside the underworld. This suggests something huge. The underworld wasn't just a random location, it was a place filled with technology and power that nobody else on the server could access. So maybe the Null aren't just a random army. Maybe they are connected to the secrets hidden inside the underworld. Maybe the gold block was never meant to revive people. Maybe it was created to transform them. Maybe the Soul Keepers were responsible for creating what the Null became. And maybe Jamato didn't create this power. But now everything has changed. The power of the Null is now in Spoke's hands. And now Spoke controls one of the most coordinated and skilled army on the entire unstable SMP. But the biggest question is, can Spoke handle that power? Because throughout his journey, Spoke has lost allies, faced betrayal, and been pushed further and further. And every time he gets pushed, he changes.
I don't even recognize you anymore.
The same person who once searched for exploits alongside Jamato is now holding the power of the Null, a power that could decide the future of the entire server. Because with great power comes great responsibility. But what happens when the person holding that power has already started losing himself? What if Spoke doesn't become the hero who saves everyone? What if he becomes the one who destroys everything? Because that's what he said, right?
One day, you're gonna look around and you're gonna see you've made a mafia of your own. you're gonna see that you're surrounded by sycophants and people who will do anything to please you, and all you care about is accruing more and more power and making that team more strong, and you will realize that is exactly what I wanted to do, because that's the best thing for the server. And when you realize that, when you come to your senses, I'll be there.